thought. Shyly, he touched it with his stubby paws. Look.
Most days you can find Susan Miniel at the Henry C. Adams Library in Prophetstown, where she has been the librarian for 6.5 years. Her favorite aspect of the library?
My patrons.
Just like talking with them?
In general, yeah, just coming in and just the relations that I have with people in the community that I would never have if I was not in this position. Yeah, if you ever want to bring a piano to the beach, don't. There are people, Dan, that come in here and never check out a book and just stand there and talk to me for a little while, and then they leave, and I realize that they never even checked anything out.
Miniel has been a musician her entire life. Susan has accompanied Prophetstown High School musicians for concerts, contests, and musicals. She initially got involved by helping band director Jane Davis.
And so she had me come in and accompany them, and that was the first thing I ever did for the school here, is I accompanied the band, kids, choir, and then from there on out I've done all the solo ensemble, concerts, musical, everything. So what she did was she told Steph when it came musical time and she didn't have a piano player, she's like, I know this girl that you would probably really get along good with. And I do teach piano lessons. I have 7 students right now, and they come once a week.
She also plays weekly at the Rock Falls Christian Church.
The church that I am at, I've been there for, it was 12 years last December.
Another one of her passions is baking. Miniel works out of her own kitchen to create cookies and cakes that she sells all over the area.
Actually, that came about because I had always just made my own kids' cakes. And Tara Johnson, I was teaching her kids piano lessons at the time, and she happened to come in and saw one of the cakes. So she said, I have Liam's birthday coming up. Do you think that, you could make him a cake? And I'm like, yeah, sure, So I made him an Angry Birds cake, and she posted it on Facebook, and then all these people saw it and asked where she got it. And so then, through word of mouth, I started making more cakes and, doing some different stuff, and then it just, spiraled into this big thing, but I never even really, advertised or did anything, and before I knew it, I was making more money baking than I was making here. Because there's always birthdays or, weddings. People get married all year round now, so there's stuff pretty much all the time. But December and June, July usually are the busiest times, because that's the big wedding time, and then Christmas cookies are just ridiculously crazy. There are nights when it's a busy baking weekend, and maybe I have something, big going on at the library, or, a piano event or something. Yeah, there's been days when I've baked all day Thursday and through the night, Friday, then come to work, then come home and baked it to have everything ready for people to pick up Saturday morning.
There's just not enough minutes in the day for all of her hobbies.
I cannot remember the last time I could sit down and read a book. So, which I love to do. So I have this book that I've actually been trying to read for a month, but every time I sit down, my eyes are so heavy that I'm asleep before I read 2 pages. And I love crafting. I like sewing, quilting, scrapbooking, all that stuff, and I just don't have the time to do any of that anymore.
Besides everything else she's involved in, she somehow finds time in November to help create award-winning floats seen in area Christmas parades with the help of her friends Darren Mosier and Paul and Jody Farrell.
I just took all my living room furniture out, put it on a float, and had kids sit there, and I pretended like I was reading them a story. And we won first place in our group, and I was like, oh, well, that was really easy, but I think next year we should probably try something, a little bit more. So then at that point, then I had met Darren and knew that he built the sets for the school, and I was like, hey, do you want to help me come up with something? And then it took over and became this big creative project.
Susan Miniel loves Prophetstown for many reasons.
You can go to the gas station and know, hey, I'm going to talk to somebody that I know while I'm there, and not just be like a stranger in this big city where you don't know anybody. So I do like the small town community feel, and I do like that everybody is so helpful helpful towards other people that are trying new things. So, I mean, everybody wants to see everybody else succeed. And I do feel overall that the majority of people here are that way. And so I do appreciate that.